Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. After seeing, I've got a lot of traction lately about working with Hekate from a video that I had previously uploaded, what to know before working with Hekate. I kind of want to give you guys some of how I came in contact with Hekate, my relationship with her, the things that I've done since been on this path, and along with answering some of your guys' questions that you submitted in. So my experience with Hecate, my very first experience, was I was very new into paganism. I was probably around 11 or 12 years old when I found the pagan path. It called to me, and I'm like, it all makes sense now. So I did my research just like everybody else did. So many different religions have creation stories, and, I went into the different creation stories, and I wanted to find a god or goddess that resonated with me and that I felt something towards. So, in my research, I ended up in the Greek Pantheon. And in the Greek Pantheon, I stumbled across Hecate. Now, me being my 12-year-old self, and most 12-year-olds are self absorbed, the one thing I noticed with Hecate that I found was that one of the celebrations for Hecate was actually the same day as my birthday. So that kind of drawed me in. I was like, oh my goodness, my birthday is the same day for her celebration. That is awesome. That's got to be a sign, right? So I started diving in deep. I started reading everything about her, all the mythos, all the epithets. I even started, and I've continued for 17, 18 years now of looking of the different paths and seeing if there's similarity, because a lot of us within the religious path that we're in, we kind of see the correlation between one path to another. And sometimes it's been theorized that a goddess is transcending, or a god transcends into different pantheons just under a different name. So, like, for instance, you have Zeus, and then you have Thor. So that kind of gives you an idea. Now, I say Zeus to Thor because of the whole thunderbolt thing, and lightning and all that. But I know some people may disagree with that. Now, me personally, when I started getting the information about her and started learning things about her, one of the things that I had read on the way was, when you're reading about a god or goddess, it's kind of like a beacon, right? So you're sitting there and you're reading all about it. You got all this energy. You're constantly thinking about it. And so it puts out that frequency. And if that deity wants to work with you, you'll start seeing their animals. You'll start seeing their colors. You'll start having dreams about them. Or, just all these different signs and symbols. And it's very hard because it differs for each individual, right? And that's why you guys are asking this. Now, for me, I didn't see her for many years, but I seen like her animals, like um, snakes or frogs, dogs. Sorry. And I started seeing these, and I'm like, well, yeah, I'm in the country, but there's not really that many stray dogs where I'm at the time, because it's just us. There wasn't really many neighbors who had animals, and if they did, we all knew what they looked like. So it was like, she was giving me little signs and symbols. And, I had always been the type to, when I was young, I would astral project in my dreams. So that kind of was like, the more I got to read about her, divination, uh, many know her as the mother of witchcraft, and just the darker aspects of life, I really resonated with that. Now, as I started researching more and more over the years, we get used to the Greek pantheon, and you get used to the Zeus and the Apollo and all that, but not a lot of people like to go back into the Titan period, and that's where she originated for the Greeks. Now, there has been speculation that she's much older than that. And a matter of fact, give me one moment, and actually, I'll just put the pictures up here. Because I did a Guide to the Gods in March and did a whole poster board of different things I found and, giving different experiences. And I'll make sure to include that at the end of the video as well for you guys to see. Um, Now, as I got more and more into my journey, you know, I started getting to the point to where my intuition was building more, and it was becoming not only intuition, but I started having premonitions and having this ability to feel other people's emotions around me and knowing what people are thinking and sometimes picking up people's thoughts. And it's progressed more and more over time. And they say that when you're working with Hekate, she will gift upon you certain things over time. And that's what I feel. I feel like I've been gifted as um, a daughter of hers. That's how I see it. Because she is, in my opinion, my mother. She's the one that protects me. She's the one that I pray to at night. She's the one that I ask for advice when I don't really know what to do. And so that's kind of like my backstory with her. I've been with her longer than I've been with my husband. And that's what I tell people. When you're working with any deity, no matter if it's Hekate or someone else, you know, in the first beginning stages, it's like you're talking, you're dating, you're getting to know each other and see how things are going. And some of those relationships won't last. But if you have a deity, let's say for a decade, right? And you're continuously talking about them, but you never give them no thanks. You never do anything for them. Like me personally, I got to deal with Hecate. Like, because I'm real bad with the offerings. I truly am. So I tell her every night, I'm like, take my energy as my offering every night. If anybody ever reaches out, wants to know more about you, put them on my path. If somebody needs help, put them on my path. No matter what, I will stay with them on the path until we meet at the crossroads. And, community service and things like that. And I do it within her name. And for me, that's my offerings. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't do candles. I make a lot of homemade stuff. So I give that to her as well. I've always been very crafty. Um, you know, and there's a lot of things I do, like during the holidays or Sabbats and Abbots. Um, I will make a plate for her, or I'll take that plate to the crossroads and be like, this is my offering to you, and thanking her. I thank her every day, because by working with her, it's taught me about myself and it's helped me to grow. When I was younger, like in my teen years, I was very angry at the world. I was very angry at every person I met, because it seemed like one after another, it was just always some lies or betrayal or something like that. And by working with her, it showed me, we all have this crossroads in our life. And most people think that, it's just a midlife crisis. No, there are many crossroads in your life that you are going to have. And every relationship that you have, no matter if it's friend, love, whatever it may be, you always walk the path with them until you get to the crossroads. Now, that could be a lifetime. It could be 3 months. It could be 2 days. It just really depends. But there's always something to learn. There's always good memories to have. Just because you split ways doesn't mean that, it's horrible. And that's what she's helped me to learn. She's helped me to grow as a person, as far as taking a step back and going, I know I'm angry, I know I'm upset, but take a deep breath and see it from their perspective. And it takes a lot of shadow work. I'll make a video of that as well. And she's taught me that we like to hide a lot of things about ourselves and who we are, and our thoughts and our feelings. And if you're like me, it's hard to show emotion sometimes. Um, and she's helped me break through that. And it's not easy, because I always grew up with don't cry, or, you shouldn't say that, or you shouldn't do that, or, all these things that I was told as a kid. And I'm still working through that. And she's kind of giving me the strength to be able to say, you know what, I have my own thoughts, I have my own feelings, And sometimes you just got to say, fuck it. That's all you got to do. Um, even within the Divine Witch and Coven and stuff like that, I've had people I was really close to, and it got to the point to where I knew something was up and I knew it was coming, and that was my warning from her, like, hey, get ready. This is what's going to happen. And it's hard. It's not easy. It really isn't. But I want to also go into some of your guys' questions. Can you please explain how to summon Hekate and get her to come into my life and work with me? Would really appreciate it. Thanks. And that was from Shirama Taklu, I think. If I said that wrong, I'm so sorry. To summon Hekate, an easy summoning that I would do is I would take a black candle and a white candle. Because if you look at history, as far as her history, she's always been kind of about balance. Being that neutral party between dark and light, she can go either way, but she favors neither, right? So I would do that. There is Hecate oil out there. You can make it yourself. You can buy it. I would anoint your candles. Now, when you're anointing your candles, always make sure you go up because you're making the call outward. And then you could get some of her favorite herbs and then have them either around the candles or dress the candles. There's many videos out there like it that'll tell you how to dress your candles. You can just roll them in herbs after you put the oil on. Let them set for a little bit. Make sure that you're using fire safe containers because candles are flammable and you can burn your stuff down. Another thing that I would do if I was summoning her, like I said, with the candles, she also loves snakeskin. Every time I use snakeskin, I get the best results ever. And I mean it. I really do. Now, I know some people say, well, she prefers this flower over this flower and stuff like that. Now, when it comes to floral offerings, I have a flower bed, and I have a range of different beautiful flowers that come in throughout the year. So I will take them and I will put them off as an offering or to ask her for help during a spell. Just for the reason being, one, it came from the earth. Two, I'm taking care of the plants. I'm loving the plants. It's got my energy. It's got my hard work in it, and I'll offer that to her as well. So that would be another thing that I would say. Or go out somewhere and pick a beautiful bouquet of flowers. Most people forget that our gods and our goddesses kind of have similarities to us. That's why we love to work with them, because we can understand them from a human aspect. So some of them do like girly things, some of them don't. Some of them like manly things. Some of them like to teeter-totter between both. Some like handmade. It's just what you feel is right to show your expression of self, but dedication or wanting to work with them and showing them that you're wanting to put in the work. And then I would cast a circle of protection. And one, make sure that your pets ain't around, loved ones ain't around, kids aren't around, friends ain't around, cell phones are off, TVs are off, anything that's going to beep or anything else, and warn people ahead of time, hey, I won't be available from this time to this time. I got some stuff going on. I'm letting you know now. Get in your private space, cast your circle of protection, set up these items in your circle. Make sure you have all your items beforehand. The last thing you want to do is have to jump in and out of the circle. It's really annoying. It really is. I've had it happen because you just have them days, right? So make sure you have your stuff in your circle before you cast it, and then just sit there. You can have music playing, and dress them candles. Get whatever it takes to get you in that state of mind. I know some people like music, some people like to hum, some people like to just do trance talk where they just either hum or sing, whatever comes to mind, and they start working their work, right? And then start lighting your candles. Envision what you're wanting to say, that you're wanting to invoke her. that you want to have her into your life, that you want to feel her love embrace and her guidance upon you, and that you will do whatever you can to not only stay true to yourself, but true to the aspects in which she is. So that's what I would do if I was going to summon Hekate. Now, me personally, now when I talk to Hekate, I say it in my mind, and it's another way you guys can use this as well. I'll sit there in a silent room, and I'll just let my mind drift. And as it's drifting, I'll start thinking of her, and I'll start talking with her, and saying, "Hey, I need help," or I feel like I need you more in my life. Can you somehow communicate with me and help me out? And I'll either have dreams, I'll get these chills, or it'll feel like someone's massaging my shoulders, or I'll get a tingling starting from the crown of my head and work its way down to my body. So, those are things that you can do as well. If you don't have access to candles and things like that, it's another great thing. That's what I try to tell people. Work with what you got, and you can only do what you can. And most gods and goddesses respect it and will work with it. So I've got another question from Heather Rhodes. I am really studying about Hecate, and I am trying to connect with her. She reached out to me, and I also keep getting woke up at 3:30 a.m. every morning. What's happening to me? Now, when I was talking with her, because I did reply back to her, I was like, I'm going to upload this video, which I'm doing right now. But for those who don't know, when most people think about witching hour, they think of midnight. But that may be witching hour for some, but for me, I like to work at 3 a.m. because that to me is the time where I get a lot of spirit activity, and maybe that's what's happening with you. It could be someone coming through to give you a message. It could be someone waking you up because they are trying to get your attention about something, or they're letting you know, hey, I'm here. So I would definitely, every time that you wake up, start writing it down. One of the most powerful tools any witch can have is her pen and paper. You can write your dreams down, you can write your premonitions down, you can write your experiences down, and the list goes on and on. So that's what I would suggest doing. If you feel like it's a little bit negative and you don't like it, do a simple cleansing on your house and in the room that you sleep in. Put some protective crystals out there. You can also do sigils on your pillow, on your bed. Some people will go as far as putting them on their wall. I suggest not doing that because, if you're changing your symbols that you use and things like that, or you learn something new that works better, I would just advise, like, if you have a picture, I've showed it around here before. If you have a picture, put a little symbol behind it. You can always paint over it on behind it and then put a different symbol on it. Let's see. And someone else, and this is on Instagram, asked, what is the craziest experience you had with working with Hecate? My craziest experience, I can't really boil it down to one, but I'll give you guys three instances. The first Witch in the Woods that we did, I cleansed the area. People started coming. Things were going fine. And all of a sudden, once again, here's these little tiny itty bitty baby frogs. Now, the scientific part of me is like, okay, there's literally water right there. There's frogs there, so they're probably coming up. But it was just weird for them to come up to the grass and basically mingle with everybody. And I've got pictures on the website, I got pictures on the Facebook, and I think I even got a video of the first Witch in the Woods actually here on YouTube. And you can see that. And then later on that day, everybody was talking. And I do this thing whenever I have an event, I just look around and survey everything, just taking it all in, taking the experience in. And all of a sudden, I see this big, beautiful ball of light. By the way, it wasn't the sun, so don't tell me it was the sun. Come from one end of the forest and then just shoot across. And I'm like looking at people and I'm like, did you see that? And they're like, no. And then I'm like, ah. And that's the one thing that irritates me is like when you have that experience and you want to share the same excitement you get with others and they don't see it. So that's one. The second experience I had with Hekate was with me and my husband. It was a private moment. It was a little bit of sex magic. And as we're working, it almost felt like I was taken over. And after the experience happened, my husband said the same thing. It was like, he's like, I felt so much energy and so much connection. And he's like, it felt like it wasn't me, but it was me. And that let me know, okay, she was with us. She was, surrounding us and working with us for our work and was accepting it. Now, the third time that I had something happen with Hekate that really has stuck out in my mind, before I started my coven this year, I had some people that we had talked about having a coven, and I said I want to do a 6 month rule. And we ended up at one of their houses getting ready for this event and ritual. It was more of a shadow ritual, guiding, inner self, unlocking, the things that we hide and trying to get some resolution out of it. So I had the table set up, had the tarot set up with it. And as the night went on, we did the meditation and the guide was great. She did wonderful. Well, most of us went in, 2 of us stayed out there. While our 2 little lovebirds made love under a moonlit sky, and then they came back in. Well, I went back out after they came in, and I was the only one out there, so I just decided to lay on the grass, give my thanks to Hekate, and just let the earth and the energy just flow. And all of a sudden, I start picking up on all the energy from the day, the energy our 2 lovebirds left behind. And by the time I came back in, I had people asking me, are you okay? What did you do when you were out there? And I'm like, the energy that she allowed me to have was just so powerful, but yet it felt so draining. And so with that, it's moments like that and moments of where she'll come to me and dream that I know that she's accepted my offerings. She's accepted me because she'll give me warnings about things before they happen. I'm going to start doing a little series probably about Hekate, or I'll continuously here and there, as we get more questions, answer them as best as I can for you about Hekate, and we can go from there. But thank you guys so much for the love and support you've shown me. Thank you so much for being engaging in these videos. And if you guys ever need anything or want to know anything, just put them down in the comments and I will make sure I get back to you. Bye, guys. Much love, much peace.